Imagine living a life that many people would kill to have, a life so glamorous, so meticulously curated, that even a single glimpse sparks envy, yet somehow still managing to generate headlines over a $2,000 dress scandal. Yes, Meghan Markle, living her Montecito mansion fantasy, with multi-million-dollar deals stacked higher than the hills behind her, somehow became the center of media outrage over a borrowed sample dress. The story, as absurd as it seems, isn't just about a piece of clothing. It's about how even the smallest details in her carefully constructed life explode into full-blown narratives, with legal teams, spokespeople, and social media outrage all tangled in the fallout. The humor, if it can be called that, lies in the irony. A woman who can effortlessly walk into Hollywood events, private yachts, and billionaire circles somehow finds herself under fire for a dress she allegedly forgot to return. And when she finally issues an explanation, it's almost as if the reasoning was improvised in the car on the way home, a convoluted tale about protecting the dress from resellers, as if stylists and photographers around the globe were secretly running a black market auction for garments worn by Meghan Markle. Insiders laughed, fashion commentators scoffed, yet the world couldn't look away because the absurdity encapsulated everything her life seems to be: luxury, drama, and a constant performance that leaves observers simultaneously fascinated and exasperated. The incident wasn't isolated. It was emblematic of a pattern. Dresses, accessories, jewelry, even small props from photo shoots, anything she touched seemed to vanish into her orbit, quietly absorbed into a persona that blends ambition, entitlement, and a relentless drive to control perception. And while critics might say she had every right, given her wealth and access, it wasn't about money. It was about a mindset, a way of existing that transforms minor details into major media spectacles. The moment the dress resurfaced in a Netflix trailer, the world reacted instantly, hashtags proliferated, and the spectacle took on a life of its own. Social media wasn't just reporting, it was amplifying, dissecting every angle, questioning how a woman with access to countless designers, endless resources, and luxury experiences could still be embroiled in what appeared to be petty disputes over borrowed gowns. And as viewers scrolled, compared, and criticized, the contrast became sharper. Kate Middleton, quietly elegant, grounded, returning calls for charity, attending events without creating chaos over clothing or props, and Meghan, whose every move, whether it's a holiday video, a fashion shoot, or a Netflix promotion, feels orchestrated, calculated, and inevitably dramatic. The tension extends beyond fashion. It bleeds into lifestyle, into family, into projects, into every public appearance. Harry is often pulled in, the safety net, the stabilizer, the backup plan in a world where every misstep or overreach lands under scrutiny. William and Catherine exist in a quiet equilibrium, a balance that highlights the difference. One marriage effortlessly maintains public respect and adoration. The other constantly performs under a microscope, as if every move must be justified, every image carefully curated to maintain relevance. And the pattern repeats: small incident, dramatic response, legal threats, convoluted explanation, distraction, then another story, another scandal, another moment of public debate, each reinforcing a narrative that has become as predictable as it is viral. Even mundane activities, cooking, holiday videos, casual appearances, become opportunities for scrutiny. A simple turkey video turns into a viral debate over presentation, authenticity, and intent. Jewelry worn while handling food, an imperfect brine, a too dry bird, all dissected by viewers who immediately spot the performative elements. And with every critique, every analysis, every replay, the perception grows that nothing in this world is simple for Meghan. Everything must be staged, curated, and controlled. The public begins to see a person who treats ordinary moments as extensions of her brand, a reality that makes even the smallest missteps fuel for controversy. And yet, through all of this, she projects confidence, control, and poise, maintaining the illusion that everything is intentional, everything calculated, and nothing is left to chance. But for those watching, the cracks are there, impossible to ignore. The borrowed dress that becomes a scandal, the turkey video that becomes a comedic moment, the holiday special that is overshadowed by streaming competitors, the constant need to pull Harry into appearances, projects, and promotions to validate her narrative. It all forms a pattern, a narrative of control, ambition, and relentless management of perception that stands in stark contrast to the natural elegance and grounded presence of Catherine and William, whose public lives are understated, deliberate, and above all, stable. And so the question arises, is this strategy genius, or is it exhausting, unsustainable, and destined to create constant cycles of attention, criticism, and speculation? And more than that, what does it reveal about Meghan herself? Is it ambition, necessity, or an unrelenting compulsion to perform, to control, to dominate the spotlight? As the internet continues to dissect every new move, every detail, and every headline, the narrative grows, twisting and turning like a thriller with no clear end in sight. Every action is magnified, every response analyzed, and every silence interpreted, creating a reality where the spectacle becomes the story becomes the legacy, and the world becomes a witness to a performance that is as mesmerizing as it is maddening. And just when the world thought it had fully digested the dress scandal, the pattern only deepened. Every new revelation about Meghan Markle's life before and during her royal journey seemed to layer on top of the last, creating a complex mosaic of ambition, strategy, and relentless image management. The leaked Soho House photos, long whispered about but never fully confirmed, resurfaced with a vengeance. They weren't casual snapshots. They were meticulously staged environments where every glance, every gesture, every shadow seemed purposeful. Observers noted the subtle power dynamics at play, how Meghan positioned herself among influential figures, how her body language projected confidence, how even her smile suggested calculation rather than spontaneity. These weren't the photos of a struggling actress trying to get noticed. They were the images of someone mastering the art of social navigation, someone who understood how proximity to wealth, power, and influence could propel a carefully curated persona into a level of visibility far beyond Hollywood's standard ladder. And the internet went wild. Hashtags exploded, comment sections swarmed with speculation, and forums dissected every frame as if decoding a secret code that revealed the real Meghan beneath the carefully polished public facade. But what made the frenzy even more explosive was the whispers of the yachts, the private gatherings, the billionaire circles she allegedly frequented. The kind of environments where invitations are currency, where trust is measured by loyalty and discretion, and where the wrong move could shut doors that might never reopen. These rumors weren't casual gossip. Multiple sources, some anonymous, some daring enough to speak on record, described settings of opulence so extreme that they seemed almost surreal. Sun-drenched decks of private yachts, champagne flowing against golden sunsets, guest lists that read like a who's who of power brokers, celebrities, and industry insiders. And Meghan was there, not passively, not as an observer, but as an active participant, learning the unspoken rules, reading the hierarchies, taking mental notes that would inform every subsequent move. The question that gripped the public and media alike was not just about her presence in these circles, but about intent. Was she simply enjoying a glamorous lifestyle, or was this part of a calculated ascent, a deliberate mapping of social influence that would one day make her a royal? Lady Colin Campbell didn't leave that question to interpretation. Her interviews, viral clips, and sharp commentary painted a picture of strategic mastery. The term, yacht girl, which she used with precision, wasn't just a description. It was a diagnosis, an insight into how Meghan navigated a world where ambition and charm could open doors that talent alone could not. And then, just when it seemed like the narrative could not become more charged, the Epstein connection surfaced, bringing with it whispers that made the previous scandals feel almost tame. Names, dates, and alleged encounters became part of the discussion, each one adding layers of intrigue and suspicion, even if direct evidence remained elusive. The palace, meanwhile, reportedly went into quiet panic. Advisors, aides, and communications experts realized that a version of Meghan's past was circulating that could not be neatly contained. Every image, every rumor, Every narrative thread threatened the carefully maintained separation between the Duchess's public persona and her private history. Damage control became a silent war, a strategic chess game played behind closed doors, as officials tried to anticipate the next viral revelation, the next headline that could ignite a wildfire of public scrutiny. And Meghan herself? Her response, or calculated lack thereof, only fueled the spectacle. Silence became her shield, ambiguity her strategy. Where many would see retreat or evasion, her supporters framed it as dignity, restraint, and composure. But to critics and the curious public, it read as confirmation, a tacit acknowledgement that the stories, the leaks, and the controversies were real, and that the carefully polished image could no longer fully withstand the glare of scrutiny. The stakes escalated when Piers Morgan, years after his initial confrontations with Meghan, held up the glossy leaked images on live TV. The atmosphere in the studio shifted instantly, tension palpable, as millions watched in real time. No dramatic music, no over-the-top gestures, just the images themselves, sharp and undeniable, each one a subtle accusation, a challenge to the narrative that Meghan had painstakingly built. Social media erupted within seconds. Screenshots, GIFs, and clips circulated faster than newsrooms could react. Analysis flooded forums and YouTube comment sections. Debates blossomed on Twitter and Instagram, and the global audience collectively leaned in, fascinated and horrified, unsure where the line between fact and interpretation lay. Behind the drama, however, an even deeper pattern emerged, one that tied together decades of behavior, choices, and calculated moves. From her early Hollywood days to her rise within royal circles, Meghan had displayed a consistent mastery of perception, networking, and self-reinvention. Friends vanished without explanation, timelines shifted, blogs disappeared, and stories were quietly edited, leaving only the curated narrative that aligned with the image of the modern Duchess, compassionate, principled, and flawless. And yet, each leak, each resurfaced photo, each carefully timed revelation peeled back layers, revealing an alternate history. A young woman negotiating, observing, and maneuvering through elite social networks with a strategic precision that blurred the lines between ambition and performance. This duality, the public persona versus the calculated navigator of power, created a fascination that no scandal alone could achieve. Audiences weren't just watching the events unfold. They were unraveling a complex psychological and social puzzle, each new detail prompting fresh debates over intent, authenticity, and morality. And with every story, every headline, every viral clip, the stakes rose. From $2,000 dress controversies to holiday cooking videos, every seemingly trivial event became a magnifying glass, highlighting a pattern that was simultaneously captivating and polarizing. Observers began to see a life lived on the edge of spectacle, where luxury, strategy, and media manipulation intersected, producing a narrative that was endlessly dissectable and impossible to ignore. And the deeper one dug, the more apparent the threads connecting these events became. The yachts, the Soho House gatherings, the Epstein-linked rumors, the palace reactions, the viral media moments, the calculated silences, and the pattern of reinvention, all pointing to a life orchestrated not merely for fame or fortune, but for influence, control, and the relentless pursuit of a carefully curated legacy. In the midst of this whirlwind, Harry's role could not be ignored. Pulled repeatedly into public projects, promotional campaigns, and media appearances, he became both a support system and a stabilizing force, his presence a subtle acknowledgement that some elements of this performance required partnership. The contrast between him and his brother William, whose marriage with Catherine exuded effortless balance and quiet confidence, became a constant point of comparison. While William's life reflected stability and organic public admiration, Harry's path often appeared reactive, tethered to Meghan's ambitions, and highlighted by a relentless public scrutiny that seemed unrelenting. And as the narrative spiraled, the public and media alike became complicit observers of a saga that combined glamour, scandal, strategy, and human psychology into a drama of epic proportions. Every leak, every story, Every subtle revelation added to a sense of anticipation, as if the world collectively waited for the next piece of the puzzle to fall into place, unsure whether it would confirm suspicions, upend reputations, or simply deepen the mystery. The tension, the suspense, and the intrigue grew until it became a full-blown cultural phenomenon, one where the lines between gossip, journalism, and performance blurred into a spectacle that was impossible to look away from. The drama didn't stop at yachts, parties, and viral images. Every small misstep, every perceived faux pas became a headline, magnified exponentially by social media, tabloids, and news outlets hungry for clicks. Take the infamous $2,000 dress scandal, for instance. On paper, it should have been a trivial incident, barely a footnote in the life of someone living in a Montecito mansion with millions in deals stacked behind her. But in Meghan's hands, it became a perfect storm of confusion, legal threats, and media speculation. The sample dress, a simple green gown from a photo shoot, somehow morphed into a full-blown controversy. Stylists claimed items disappeared after shoots, and insiders whispered that Meghan treated borrowed items as permanent acquisitions. The explanation she gave, allegedly keeping the dress to prevent resale, sounded so bizarre and convoluted that it made headlines for weeks. Fashion industry insiders laughed behind the scenes, calling it paranoid and unnecessary. And yet, it wasn't just about a dress. It was emblematic of a pattern that had defined Meghan's public persona for years, complicating the simple, turning mundane events into elaborate narratives, dragging everyone around her into the spectacle, and maintaining silence when a straightforward explanation would suffice. Every time she could calm the storm with a simple statement, "I bought the dress," she opted for complexity instead. That pattern extended far beyond fashion. The holiday special she released felt like a carefully choreographed attempt to craft a warm, cozy image of domestic bliss, with soft focus candles, family moments, and heartwarming aesthetic. Yet, even though it was undercut by the timing, the execution, and the subtle indications of a manufactured performance, Netflix, once a staunch partner in her projects, quietly let another documentary drop just a day before her premiere, signaling that the streaming giant was moving on. Harry appeared in trailers as a last-minute addition, a stabilizing cameo meant to shore up the project's fading momentum. Audiences noticed immediately. William and Catherine's appearances radiated effortless stability, while Meghan's meticulously curated projects seemed to need backup, a constant safety net that underscored the performance rather than the substance. And in the midst of this swirling media maelstrom, patterns from her past continued to emerge. The leaked Soho House photos resurfaced again, this time tied more explicitly to her strategies of social positioning. Observers noted not just the locations, but the body language, the subtle interactions, the way she navigated elite social circles with a skill that could only be described as deliberate. These weren't the images of someone stumbling into influence. They were the visual evidence of a woman who understood the rules of high society, of power, and of perception. And then there were the yachts. Stories of luxury gatherings, private dinners with influencers and billionaires, sun-drenched Mediterranean trips, and subtle networking maneuvers painted a picture of someone operating in a sphere far removed from the narrative of the struggling actress who sipped green juice and journaled about empowerment. Every detail fed the public fascination, creating a suspenseful, almost serialized narrative where each revelation compounded the last. When you connected the dots, the dress scandals, the holiday specials, the Soho House leaks, the yacht rumors, and the Netflix projects, it became impossible to dismiss as coincidence. The pattern was clear: carefully managed appearances, strategic reinventions, cultivated networks, and an uncanny ability to dominate narratives, both through action and silence. Even Harry's memoir, Spare, unintentionally added fuel to the fire. Passages describing her familiarity with elite social circles, her comfort in exclusive spaces, and her routines within those environments contradicted the image of modesty she projected publicly. Fans and critics alike dissected every line, comparing it with leaked photos, media appearances, and viral clips, each intersection deepening the suspense and reinforcing the idea that Meghan's public persona was meticulously curated and sometimes at odds with reality. And yet, even with the mounting evidence, the woman at the center of it all maintained a strategic silence that was both frustrating and captivating. She didn't need to issue denials or clarifications. Her absence became a statement, a calculated tool that amplified speculation and debate. Every unanswered question became a magnifying glass, focusing attention on her past, her choices, and her intentions. The internet, of course, responded like a living organism, feeding on contradictions, inconsistencies, and intrigue. Hashtags trended, YouTube channels exploded with breakdowns, forums dedicated to royal gossip reached fever pitch, and social media discussions evolved into a global conversation about influence, privilege, and narrative control. Analysts, commentators, and fans alike tried to decode her motivations, her strategies, and the implications of every move, every silence, every headline. It was a spectacle that blurred the line between reality and performance, between personal choice and public consequence. And throughout all of it, the comparisons with the rest of the royal family loomed large. William and Catherine's calm, grounded, and uncontroversial presence provided a stark contrast to Meghan and Harry's high-profile maneuvers. Where Catherine's actions radiated effortless composure and support for her husband, Meghan's efforts often appeared performative, a constant push to assert control over narratives, visibility, and relevance. Observers noted the difference not just in approach, but in effect. William's quiet stability drew admiration, while Meghan's elaborate orchestration of appearances and projects often fueled scrutiny and debate. The $2,000 dress, the Thanksgiving turkey video, the Netflix specials, and the leaked Soho House photos were all pieces of a larger puzzle, fragments of a life lived under relentless observation and intense self-curation. And the suspense didn't just come from what was revealed. It came from what remained hidden. Every calculated silence, every unexplained absence, every selective disclosure fueled the audience's imagination. What wasn't said became as compelling as what was. Each new revelation promised another layer of intrigue, another twist in the narrative, another opportunity for speculation. And while critics debated ethics, fans celebrated her resilience, and the media amplified every story, Meghan's saga continued to unfold, a high-stakes drama of power, influence, and image control that no single headline could contain. The suspense, the contradictions, the calculated maneuvers, they all coalesced into a narrative that was impossible to ignore, impossible to simplify, and impossible to fully reconcile. And as the world waited for the next chapter, the cycle continued. Another dress, another viral clip, another leaked image, another calculated appearance. The pattern was unmistakable, the stakes escalating, and the fascination with Meghan Markle's life, both past and present, showed no signs of slowing. It was a story of glamour, strategy, controversy, and relentless public attention, a narrative that drew people in, held them captive, and left them guessing, wondering, and always talking.